Hey guys, what's up? This is Shark talking. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is about romancing SaGa UniverSe, and we will be talking about Asellus Banner and also T260G. Well, on the past video we were talking about the upcoming stuff and we gave a look on everything, but we didn't have time enough to talk about this banner, and we needed a special time to talk about this because Asellus is one of the most hyped characters in global. We had Christmas Monica was a little hyped, not much because it was at the start of the game. Then we had New Year's Polka, that was a little hyped, but not so much. Then we came with White Rose, that was overhyped, the character that was the most popular so far. And then we have Asellus now. She is the most hyped character after White Rose. And the question is, does she live up to the hype? And the answer is yes. But it's not just simple. We need to talk about everything that makes for Asellus being so strong. We don't have many information here, only that we'll also be able to summon for another version of White Rose. This one is just for damage. An Engineer card, that is a character that only has this A style, so it's very locked, not useful. And actually it has some uses, but not for the average player. So let's just go here to Now Blogspot. This tool here is amazing. We always use it as a resource. I will also be giving the link on the description of the video. I already checked it here for Asellus, and you see Asellus has 4 different styles. We already got this one here being the White Days Asellus, and she was not good. It's not that she was bad, but she was nothing special. Let's just give a look fast here. She had a Knee Split, a Bloom Rose, and Rising Nova. Rising Nova was her selling point, because Bloom Rose is just like Waterfall Blade, and Knee Split is easy to find. It's just a cheap skill that can inflict stun with low chances, but will be useful if you needed more stun with your squad. She was also built with high agility, so she wanted to attack before the enemy, so stun could work. But only that, Rising Nova is not so good, because it has a decreased power and an increased BP cost. S power with the 40 is not so strong. You can actually get a 45 with double S damage attacks, and Rising Nova is just receiving a penalty by having heat damage alongside it. So if you needed single target heat damage, this version of Asellus was okay. But the new version of Asellus do not need elemental damage. She's only about AoE and single target damage. Well, you also see that this version didn't have so many good abilities. She will be reducing the damage when she had full HP. Tension up is fired up 3, not so high, but she also had a chance to recover BP. Now let's just check the current anniversary Asellus. Just a little off backstory here. This version is coming kind of fastest here on global. We had a survey, we had some past live streams where people were asking to release some popular characters before the normal schedule, and Asellus was one of the characters that people asked the most. It's not that it's bad by having her right now, because we are not so far to receiving her on the original schedule, but it's also bad for people that are just summoning and cannot control themselves with limited time banners. Just like me when I'm trying to get New Year's Actor. Well, at least now Asellus is super strong, and we have lots of free jewels to get enough summons for guarantee. Maybe some people won't be able to guarantee the 2 characters, but Asellus is the most important one. And the answer is the first skill. You see Mirage Step, I don't know what will be the translated name, is one hell of an impressive skill. It has E power with a 9, that's just the same as Chocolate Balls, and it's slash damage against AoE targets. Everyone will be attacked. Not only that, that will be enough for you to summon for this girl, but she also has a debuff that will debuff 10% or up to 15 if you get this to rank max. And guys, this is incredible. You know that Submission is super useful. You know that Bone Crusher is super useful. You know that Flowing Slash can be super useful. And they always cost 8 BP. Can be reduced to 6. That means that you can use it every 2 turns. But Mirage Step starts with 5. You can get this reduced to 4. Asellus has an ability that can give her BP sometimes, so she will keep using this skill on challenges and boss battles, and I know it won't be every single turn, but you can sometimes save some BP by defeating normal enemies with normal attacks and reaching the last wave with 20 BP. That means that she will be able to use Mirage Staff for the whole fight, and by herself she will be able to reduce the intelligence to the enemy to very low levels. Not only that, but in the future we also be getting challenges that has more enemies on the battlefield. Usually when we face a boss, it's alone, or sometimes they have some minions, but they are weak. They can be easily killed. But there will be some challenges and content where the enemies will not be easily killed with a single attack, or just with the first turn. So this is where Asellus will be even better. So her long-term usage is very high, just because of this skill. Not only this skill, because she also has Rosario in Palette, and this is also very good. But let's just talk a little more about Mirage. Asellus will have another SS style that will take a lot of time to come. Let's just give a click here. This is the future version of Asellus, and it's a monster. Super strong. You can see here the review that the Japanese players gave her. Almost maxed stars in everything. And she gets even better by inheritance Mirage Step, because this version of Asellus has lots of passives that increases her upcoming damage, but also has 3 very unique skills. The first one is 1 BP, the second one is 11, and the third one is 13. What does this exactly mean? It means that if you get Mirage Step, she will keep using Mirage Step forever in auto, unless you get more BP before using it. But she can be used for AoE farming, and this version also has a very high attack. You see 90% of correction, alongside 15 bonus. And guys, even when you need debuffs, this other version of Asellus will be good if you summon for the current one. But back to the current one. I'm just trying to explain that she has future-proof usage because of Mirage Step. Whirlwind is an attack that we already saw. It's just a row of enemies, indirect attack with C, very close to Gravedigger in damage, and just the same as I think it's just the same damage as Gravedigger. Let me check here. We have to change for Greatsword users. We have Katarina that has this. Gravedigger, let me see. I think it should be the same or close. Gravedigger actually has low damage. It's 17 instead of 20. Nice to know this. So let's just get back to Asellus. The problem with this Asellus is that she will not be able to perform a full AoE setup. She will be starting the battle with Whirlwind, that it's a roll damage. Let's change here. And then choose Mirage Step after. So Whirlwind, Mirage Step, Mirage Step. That is the setup for this version of Asellus. The future one can use Mirage Step forever, but it will take some time to get this future version. Not only these 2 skills are good, but we also have Rosario in Palette, and this one deals critical damage against Undead. It's just like the Sultan Cross. You see its SS power with 47. Let's just check for Sultan Cross. Let me see here. Happier users. Let's just click on Monica, Christmas Monica, and Sultan Cross has 45. It's even higher than Sultan Cross. That's very interesting. So it can also be reduced to 9. Not only that, but if you just think that you don't need intelligence debuff and you just want damage, because this version of Asellus has a passive that can also get BP by attacking. Let's just go there. Here. She has Uplifting Spirit that has a 25% chances of getting 1 BP. If you reduce Rosario and Palette to 90, then you want to use this 3 times in a row, you have to save 20 BP on a fight, and then if it triggers at least once in your first 2 attacks, you will be able to just unleash 3 Rosario and Palette against your enemy. Now imagine if the enemy is Undead. That would be very high damage. I know that this version doesn't have so much bonuses for damage. She has Fired Up 4. It's the only one that it's about damage. But she has Illusion. Will help her avoid enemy attacks. She has a 25% chances of avoiding attacks. It's a very good passive that will help you in challenges and some situations. Well, this is for Asellus, a very strong character that will have one of the best AoE attacks in the game for a long time. Not only that, she can also be the best intelligence debuffer even when you are facing single targets, and also becomes very useful for inheritance when you want to get the next Asellus. So, well, enough with Asellus, let's just talk about T260G. We have him here. It's not exactly him, it's a her. It's a she. Very nice, and a robot that uses guns. Guns in this game is actually blunt damage. I thought it was supposed to be pierce, so this character, it's not this one, we are getting this one. It's good, a little above average, but doesn't have the same appeal or long-last usage as Asellus. We have 3 attacks. Railgun is, in my opinion, the most important attack from this version. It's very high, you see 24, and can be reduced to 5 VP. So you can just keep using this when you are facing an enemy that is weak against blunt. But it doesn't have so much other stuff for attacks. T260G has laser. I don't know if this is heat as well, because it has this red symbol. I don't fully understand what it means. And the third skill is Surprised Soldier, that attacks the whole enemy, but with slash and blunt damage. The problem is more related to the fact that you cannot start a battle by using this, but there will be some situations where you can save VP and it can be useful. If you have like 6 enemies and some of them are weak to blunt and some are weak to slash, then you will be able to just deal strong damage against them all. But I still don't buy this. I think it's not so high damage for a very high cost. But it will depend on the situation. And now let's just give a look on her abilities. She has Painfulness 2. She can recover HP when she's attacked. Or when she's attacked. I don't know, because they always translate this wrongly. Iron Wall Protection. That means that she will have reduced incoming damage all the time. 10% reduced damage. Okay. And the last one is the most important. Detox. She will remove all the abnormal conditions on the end of every turn, so she will never be confused, paralyzed, she will never be sleeping, she will never be charmed. But you understand, in some situations where the bosses have way too many attacks that can inflict status ailments, she can be useful for that. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any debuff to increase the survivability of your squad, but she can at least keep doing blunt damage if you want. And the only bad thing about this version is that the second SS style is way better than this one. Way better. It can be used for AoE farming and also has some good attacks. But it's better on AoE damage if you inherit a skill from the A style and not this version of T260G. You can still inherit Railgun and just use Railgun if you want. But it has Flamethrower that it's a heat vertical roll attack. Interesting, but for full damage, Railgun is still better. But you most likely be inheriting Strafing, because Strafing is an AoE attack with 10 BP cost, and the future version of T260G has backslash spread. That's an amazing skill because it's AoE, 8 power, very cheap cost, 4 can be reduced to 3, and you will start a battle by using Strafing and then backslash spread 2 times, so full AoE damage. But only with this future T260G that do not need the current one. So you see, the long-term usage is lower. But I don't know, Asellus also becomes less useful when you get the second version. So maybe good for now, and then you just use another character in the future. Well, that's for T260G. Now let's just talk about White Rose. I don't think this White Rose is important to summon for, it's just that you may happen to get her. She has 3 S styles. We will be able to summon this one now, and this one now can inherit Sunlight. Can pass through the SS style. That is only interesting if you are facing an enemy that is immune that and you want to use your White Rose for damage instead of just Chocolate Ball that deals debuff or instead of healing. The other things are not so interesting. Maybe Flash Fire could be useful, but I don't think so. Depends on the farming stage, but against bosses this is useless. And yeah, this one is only for damage and for inheritance. And the other robot is interesting, but I don't think it's enough of a reason to use it. It's this one here. Has a very interesting thing. It also has Detox. If you want to use another character that cannot be afflicted with status elements, that could be useful. But all the other skills are not interesting, sadly. It also has Railgun at least. Yeah. And this attack here, Balkan, it hits animal, vertical line, it's indirect. So depending on the farming stage, that could be useful, but unfortunately, A styles do not have any power. So, yeah, it is just a style for you to get some gems by leveling up HP and style. So, well guys, I think this is it. I just checked these new characters that will be released. Asellus is super important if you want to keep up with the meta of the game and if you want to face challenges where you need intelligence debuff, because she by herself is amazing for that. She helps with survivability, she can avoid enemy attacks. This T260G can be useful if you need a blunt damage dealer but you already have enough debuffers. So, well, I think if you want to get Asellus and you get her very soon on your summons, you should stop. But if you are thinking about the future and you want to have all styles, you are a collector, there's no harm in getting all of them. Okay, so thank you for watching this video, please subscribe if you still haven't, and we'll see each other on the next one. Bye.